So welcome everyone. In this video of data visualization 3, you're going to see the plotting with axes. That means you have more flexibility on the positions of the graphs. So welcome to Learn with My Friend channel. Let us start into the course. So here we go. In this video, as usual, first we are going to import NumPy and Matplotlib as well, and the next one which we are going to do is to initialize x and y, which I'm gonna copy it. So x and y variables are also initialized. Now what you have to do is, let us create a variable called figure. In this figure, what you have to do is, you have to assign a class, assign a function called figure. So for this fig, now you have created a canvas with the help of this. So for this canvas, let us add an axis. Let us name the axis as AX. So for this figure dot add underscore axis. So this axis will take a argument list. So this list should contain 4 items. The first item is the padding at left side, and the second item is padding at bottom, and the third one is width, and the fourth one is height. So for this graph, I need to start this graph by leaving 10% of the left side and 10% at the bottom. And the next one is width. Width also should be between 0 to 1. That means if I mention as 0 to 0.9, that means 90% of the screen should be covered with graph. But if you cover 90% with the screen and 1% with the left, you will not find much space for your text on x-axis. So I'm going to mention it as 0.8. And the next one is height. Height also is the same thing. Okay. Let us save and axis dot plot x comma y dot show. Let us run this program. Here is the graph. See, 1% of the space was padded here. So let us play with these numbers and we will see how it's gonna look. So now you remember that graph. Let us increase this to 3 and let us keep this 8. It won't gonna look good, but I just wanted to show you how this is gonna look. See, 30% of the canvas will be blank. So after 30% of the left side of the canvas will be left blank. Let us see how this one will look. Look at this. See, the 30% was left blank, and from here it is going to cover the 80% of the graph. So this is not going to look good. And the same with bottom. If 30% of the bottom part of the canvas is blank, it's going to move to the top corner like this. 30% of the graph. Even if you maximize the window, it's going to take a relative spacing. Okay. So this is one way of having control over the position of graph. Now, if you want to show, just comment it out. Now, if you want to show multiple graphs in a single place, earlier I have shown how to use this with the help of subplot. Now, if you want to create it with the help of this object figure, so it is a different way. So, how it is figure dot axis. So, these two are the things that you want to initialize. Figure dot axis is equal to plt dot subplots. So, earlier we have used subplot. Here, see, earlier we have used subplot, but now we are using subplots 1, 2. Again, it's the same. Rows, columns. So 1 row and 2 columns. If you give 2 rows, 1 column, the graph will be one below the other. Since you gave 1 row and 2 columns, both the graphs will be one next to each other. So here you have created 2 axes. So this line is gonna give output of one, the canvas, and the second one is the axis. So 1 into 2, the total number of graphs that are required is 1 into 2. That will be the number of axes required. So since in Python everything starts with 0, axis 0 dot plot x comma y, axis 1 dot plot y comma x. Okay, so let us name this axis dot title, axis 0, axis 1 comma title axis 1. So let us show the figure. Run this. See, there are 2 graphs. Right. So here you have to So let's create labels for these graphs, axes. For the 0 the axis. To create a title, earlier we used title, but here we are going to use set underscore title. The title for 0 axis will be axis 0 and axis 1 set underscore title. Axis 1. So let us display the figure. Show right there. 1. Right. See, these 2 axis 0 and axis 1 are the 2 graphs in 1 row and 2 columns. And here is the graph for x comma y. Here is the graph for y comma x. If you want to change the color also, you can do it here with the help of R. Now, axis 0 will have blue line, axis 1 will have red line. axis 0, axis 1. So since we have set the title of our axis 0 as axis 0, so it came here yes like that. Okay. So thanks for watching the video. In the next lecture we are going to see how to resize and give DPIs for the images or graph which we are being created. Okay.